In this video, we are going to learn what are arrays. So before understanding what is an array, let us try to understand why do you need an array. How do we store value in the memory? By defining a variable, for example, int n equal to 1000. So here we are storing 1000 in variable n. But variables are capable of holding only one value at a time. So this variable n can store only one value at a time. What if there is a situation in which we want to store more than one values at a time in a single variable? What if I want to store roll numbers of 100 students? Should I declare 100 different variables? Here comes the need for arrays. Instead of creating 100 different variables, I can create one array variable. So in this scenario, we need an array. What is an array? Array is a container object that holds fixed numbers of values of single type. Try to understand every word of this line. So point number 1, in Java, arrays are objects. Point number 2, an array is a container object. What do you mean by a container? Take a real life example. Have a look on this picture having container of glasses. So this container of glasses has 6 slots and you can keep one glass in every slot. Also, this container has fixed size. The size of container is it can hold 6 glasses and the type of the glass has to be similar. Array is exactly like this container of glasses. Array has fixed size. You can store one value in every slot and the value stored in the array should be similar of same data type. See, if you try to relate real life pictures with programming concepts, it helps to remember. So now you can relate with this diagram. This is a container. This array is holding 10 values. Let us give some name to this array. For example, n square brackets. Array is always represented with square brackets. So when you declare a variable, it has variable name. And when you declare an array, it has array name with square brackets. An array object holds fixed number of values. The size or length of an array is established when the array is created. So what is size or length of an array? You can call it size of an array or you can call it length of an array. The meaning of this is capacity of the array to hold the elements. So this array is of length 10 because this array is holding 10 elements. You need to decide how many elements you want in an array when you create an array. After creation, the size is fixed. You cannot change the size of an array. For example, if you decide to store total number of 8 values in an array, 8 is the length of an array and this cannot be changed. So when you declare an array, you need to decide the size of an array. Also, you need to store values of single type. This means that if you are storing int data in an array, all elements should be of type int. If you are storing string data in an array, all elements should be of type string. You cannot store mixed data type values. You have seen an example of arrays already in the main method. Main method takes string array as a parameter. Now that string array is used for command line arguments. We have a separate video on that. Now how do you access array element? For example, I am storing some values in an array. Suppose my first value is 89, second value is 72, third value is 44. And wherever I am not storing the value, the default value is always 0. So by default, the value of an array element is 0. Now suppose I want to access this third element. How do I do this? For accessing the array elements, we have index numbers. Array index always start from 0. So the first element will have index 0. The second element will have index 1. The third element will have index 2. And the last element will have index length of the array minus 1. So in this example, length of the array is 10. The last index is 9 because we traverse from 0 to 9. So using these index numbers, you can access the array element. Syntax for creating and initializing an array. So syntax for creating an array, data type, array name, square brackets, equal to, new keyword, data type and size of the array. You need to follow this syntax. Now this square brackets can come after the name of array or before the name of array. Arrays can be of any type. You can declare integer arrays, you can declare float arrays, double, byte, short, string, array of objects of any user defined or predefined class, but the syntax should be same. So when this line is executed, an array named myArray will be created. Now in Java, arrays are objects. So the reference variable of array is created on the stack and the actual array object is created on the heap memory area. Memory allocated for an array is contiguous. So when you declare the size as 5, memory will be allocated for 5 elements. And if you want to access these elements, you can access it using the index numbers. So index starts from 0 and the last index will be 4. Now when you declare the array, memory is allocated for the array object. If you want to initialize the array, that means if you want to store values inside the array, you can store it using the index number. So name of the array, square bracket, 0. This means that 0th index of my array, you are assigning value 100. So when this statement is executed, value 100 will be stored on the 0th index. My array of 1 equal to 200. That means index number 1 of my array is assigned value 200. So index number 1 will have value 200. My array of 2, that means index number 2 of my array is equal to 300. So index number 2 will have value 300. And the rest of the values will be 0 because we are not assigning any value to those indexes. Now there is one more syntax you can follow. Data type, square brackets, array name equal to. Inside the curly brackets, you can just mention the values. Instead of assigning the value index wise, you can just mention the values inside the curly brackets giving commas, and automatically array of that size is created inside the memory. For example, my array 1 int square brackets my array 1 equal to. So a reference variable my array 1 will be created inside the memory and you are assigning these values. So how many values are this? 10 values. So memory will be automatically allocated for 10 values and these values will be stored inside as per the index number. So the first element will have index 0, the next element will have index 1 and this goes on, and the last element will have index 9. So this is the one more way to define an array. Now write a program to demonstrate an array. Define the class name is array_demo. Define the main method. Declare an array int square brackets AR. So when this line is executed, yet the array is not created. Array object is created only when you assign memory to the object using new keyword. So in this first statement, only a reference variable is created inside the stack memory area. So the array name is AR. A reference is created on stack memory area named AR. And in the next statement, when we actually allocate memory to the object, we are writing AR equal to new int 5. That means we are defining an array object of size 5 of type integer. So when this statement is executed, the actual object is created on the heap memory area of size 5 and AR will start pointing to the array object. Now point to remember, memory allocated for an array is always contiguous. Meaning of contiguous memory allocation is single section of memory is allocated to the whole array. So these memory locations can be accessed using index number of the array. The first index is 0, the second index is 1, the third is 2, 3 and 4. If the address of 0th element, address at 0th index is called the base address of the array, from where the array will start traversing. So if the base address of the array is 110, the address for next element is calculated depending upon the data type. For example, if the data type is int, it will calculate 4 bytes. If the data type is double, it will calculate 8 bytes. So this is what explained in data structures. I am not getting into depth of this. You will be having a separate subject data structures in your computer science curriculum. We will just have a pictorial representation of an array. Even in the next videos of 2D array and 3D arrays, I am not explaining the memory allocations because it will become more complex to understand. Let us stick to Java programming only. So this is the pictorial representation of an array inside the memory. You have a reference variable on the stack memory area. An array object is created on the heap memory area of whatever size you have mentioned. Here I have mentioned size 5. So 5 contiguous slots of memory will be allocated to this array. Now the next statement is AR of 0 equal to 100. So at index 0, we are storing value 100. Next is AR of 1 equal to 200. So index 1 of array AR is assigned with value 200. AR of 2 equal to 300. So index 2 of array AR is assigned value 300. AR of 3 is 400. 400 is assigned to index 3. And AR of 4 is 500. 500 is assigned to index 4. This is how we have initialized an array. Now the next statement is system.out.println. Printing array element of array AR. This will be printed to the output screen. Here you get the output. Next statement is system.out.println. Element at index 0 colon. So this will be printed to the output screen. Element at index 0 colon. And we are retrieving AR of 0. So AR of 0 will retrieve the value stored at 0th index. That is value 100. And this value 100 is printed to the console. The next statement is system.out.println. Element at index 1 colon AR of 1. So AR of 1 will retrieve value stored at that location, that is 200, and this will be printed. Next is system.out.println. Element at index 2 colon AR of 2. So AR of 2 will retrieve value 300 and it will be printed to the console. Next is system.out.println. Element at index 3 colon AR of 3 will retrieve value stored in index 3, that is 400, and it will be printed to the console. Next statement is system.out.println. Element at index 4 colon AR of 4 will retrieve value stored in index 4, that is 500, and this will be printed to the console. Now we are defining one more array, int b square brackets equal to, inside the curly brackets we are assigning some values 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000 and 5000. So this is the array of size 5 and the index numbers are 0 to 4. So when this statement is executed, array B is created inside the memory and the values will be stored as per the given index. So when this statement is executed, array B is created inside the memory and the values inside the array are stored. Next is we are defining int variable I. So memory will be reserved for variable I inside the stack memory area. Next is system.out.println, new line, printing array elements of array B. This will be printed. A new line is added because we have given \n and the statement is printed. Now we are iterating the array elements using for loop. So instead of printing it one by one, AR of 0, AR of 1, we are just using a loop and writing one line of code and printing the elements. So we are using for loop. You are definitely familiar with for loop. First statement is initialization of the counter variable, that is I equal to 0. So when this statement is executed, value 0 will be stored inside I. Next is condition check, I less than b dot length. Now b dot length is a field belonging to an array that returns length of an array. So length of array B is 5. Hence b dot length will return 5. And we are checking the condition whether I less than b dot length, that is 5. Value of I is 0. 0 less than 5, condition is true. Hence control will go inside the for loop and the statement will execute. System.out.println, element at index, this will be printed, element at index, variable I, retrieve its value, that is 0. So 0 is printed, colon is a string, colon is printed as it is, and b of I, that means b of value of I is 0. We are retrieving element of array B present at index 0. So b of 0 is 1000, hence value 1000 is printed to the console. Now once this statement is executed, control of program goes to the increment statement, I++. So value of I is incremented by 1, 0 plus 1 is 1. So now the value of I is 1. So after incrementation, value of I is 1. From here the control goes to the condition statement, b dot length is 5, value of I is 1, 1 less than 5, condition is true. Hence the statement inside the for loop is executed. Element at index I, that is 1, colon, b of I, that is b of 1 is 2000. This will be printed to the console. So you get the next output. Now after this statement is executed, again the control goes to I++. I is incremented. the statement inside the loop is executed, and this happens till I becomes 4. So till I is 4, 4 less than 5, condition is true, the statement inside the loop is executed. So you get output till index 2, 3, 4. When I becomes 4, again I is incremented, I becomes 5. 5 less than 5 is not true, so control does not go inside the loop and the loop terminates. So this is how you can iterate the array using for loop. So this is how you declare, initialize and access array elements. You can do it using loops. So there is a special loop for accessing array elements, that is for each loop. We have separate video on that. Now let us execute this program in Eclipse.